Hey everyone, got an exciting show for you today because we are going to talk about what you and I care about, and that is real estate. And if you've been following this channel, you know I talk about learning your market, watching your market. It's what I do, it's what I teach. And what I try to do is I try to talk with my team once a month. And that means we bring back Benny Clay to the show to talk about what's going on in Fresno. We will talk together, but hopefully that will provide value for you as well. So how you doing, Benny?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thanks for having me on again, man. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I got your charts again, so we'll get to those in a minute. But why don't you just summarize, it's, what is it, September 10th? What is the market like right now in Fresno?
So market is very similar to what we talked about last month. Supply is down, so inventory is down still 50% like it was. That's been like the consensus for the last couple months. And the demand is up still, 15, 20%. And so what we've got is people are bidding on houses and things are going for over asking. So sellers are doing really well right now. Yeah. And the interest rates are really low for buyers. So there's a lot more buyers out there ready to pull the trigger, and it's creating a big frenzy out there. So it's pretty interesting market right now.
Yes, I just want to make sure one thing, and this is what I'm seeing, but you're more intimate with it with your team, are most of the buyers owner occupants versus investor landlord types?
Yes, most of the buyers are owner occupants because right now they're getting money the cheapest in the history of the United States. The interest rate is the lowest it's ever been.
Exactly.
So they're trying to lock in that money right now, which I don't blame them. I mean, if I were looking to buy a house right now, you're locking in at the cheapest interest rate in the history of the United States. Why not?
Yeah.
So, everyone's out looking right now because of that.
Yeah, it's funny. So this is funny. I put out a video probably 45 days ago after you and I talked about July numbers. So maybe it was 30 days ago. And I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing because my business model, buy a slumlord property, fix it up, stick a tenant in it, and then sell to a landlord, right?
Right.
So I did that 51 times and it was great. But I pontificated with the property I had in the Tower District. I'm like, shoot, I just stuck a tenant in there. I bet you if I would have, just done the same thing, maybe slightly better upgrades, I could have sold that for an extra 20 grand. So that's what I did on 4th Street. I bought a property on 4th Street. Here are the rough numbers. All in, bought it for 105. I'm spending about 40 fixing it up, doing all the right things. I listed it at 199, not done, right? The pictures, it's not done, but I wanted to list it a week before it was done just to see, because if I didn't get any interest, I was just going to stick a tenant in and sell it to a landlord. I had like 20 showings over the weekend. I had 5 offers, and we went into contract on a property that's not even done yet.
That's the market we're in.
Crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I got $22,000 more than I would have if I sold to a landlord. 22 grand.
Right now, it's a flipper's paradise. Like, honestly, I don't blame you for doing that model. Jason's killing it right now by doing that, and he's making more money. He's like, dude, it makes more sense for me to flip it right now because I can actually get 20 or 30 grand more than I thought I could originally. Yeah. So my profit margin goes up a little higher.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we're seeing.
Same thing you're thinking.
Flipper's paradise. Again, it won't go on forever. It's as long as FHA money and 3.5% down. I think it goes on for at least a year. It might be 18 months. It won't go on forever, but it is hot. And I think it's getting hotter. I mean, literally. I mean, you could look at the listing. Amanda Santana has it. It's 93702, so it's not the best zip code. But I'm taking the total terrible house, making it the best house on the block, got a disconnected garage. I'm even doing the garage. And, yeah, listed at 199. If I were to sell it to a landlord, it would have been 180. That's all I could have asked.
Yep.
I listed at 199.
You got 20 over the 199, right?
Yeah, I got 180 to 199, and I sold it for 201. But still, that's 22 grand more than, or 21 grand more than I could have gotten as a landlord. That's all profit, right? So
that's all profit, man. That's good for you, man.
Yeah, I just had to take a shot, so I'm going to do it again. The next one's going to do the same thing.
Good for you. That's awesome.
I'm easy. If it works once, I'll do it again. I'm a very simple person, so. It's pretty crazy. Well, let's show the numbers because the numbers speak volumes, and this is why it works. This is why it works for me. It's why Jason's doing it. It's just the right thing today, right? If you know your numbers, it's the right thing to do. So let's share this. Let's page up. All right. So these numbers I ran from September 6th is when you ran these. So,
Yes, sir.
yep. So here's the first chart. What do you want to talk about this one?
Well, let's just talk about listings. So listings are so that's the first sale. That's the first column. So back in August of 2019, there were 1,786 listings. Back in August of 2019, a year ago.
Oh
This
my
last August, it was 862, down 51.7%. That is the biggest number on this entire sheet right here that everyone needs to pay attention to. So you can see that the supply is just way, way down.
And this is why it's a flipper's paradise. I mean, that you're right. That number needs to be circled. Almost
Yes.
52% down year on year. The
That is
inventory is just, there's nothing. Because you got to remember that 862, probably 100 of those homes are like 800K and above, right? Which, those are for the top. So that's, if you think affordable homes, I bet you it's half that.
Yeah. And that's why, a lot of investors stick to that lower end price point because you can't build a home for that, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, money's as cheap as it's ever going to be. So the people are just out just trying to lock that money in. And it's just, and we'll go down to the pending or pended, it says, it means pending.
Yep.
Pendings are up 12.5% from this time last year. So This is, again, the old supply demand. And so when you see that, you got more people out looking to buy and less demand, and it's creating a over asking. The sellers are getting over asking for their property. So prices are going up, and prices have been going up.
Yeah. This is again why I feel fairly confident saying Fresno is going to see double-digit appreciation in 2020 and in 2021 in single-family homes. It's just math at this point. And
yes.
So earlier I asked you about the buyers and what I'm seeing and what you agreed it's owner-occupant. I'm curious, and if you don't know, totally cool, take a guess. What percentage of your buyers, your owner-occupants, are currently Fresno County residents versus out-of-area residents? Are you seeing a 20% out-of-area move to Fresno or not yet?
I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say I would know the percentage, but there's people moving because I think COVID kind of jumpstart. You don't have to be in the office to work.
Yeah.
So we do everything on Zoom now. So why live in an expensive city? I'm tired of living in an expensive city that's closing everything and being around a bunch of people when this outbreak happens. So let's move somewhere that makes more sense, that's more spread out, that's more that's more affordable. So it's half the cost of where I live, or even a third of the cost of where I live. Yeah, so we're experiencing a lot of people moving here from the Bay Area and from down south. Yeah. I would say you might be close to 20%, but it's definitely more than it has been in the past.
Again, that's exactly what I'm seeing. And again, I think this puts out, something for you and the team, right? Historically, it's been very kind of investor oriented. So Jason, it's your experience. We've obviously got a swing towards owner occupants. Your teams are calling on owners to get listings. Totally makes sense. But we might want to put out, something you and I and Jason might want to do for you is we could put out a show like once a week talking about the 5 houses in Fresno over $1 million, because you got a lot of Bay Area people and SoCal people that could sell this little condo like I live in for 1.6 that could buy just a gorgeous house like that house on the lake that we talked about, I think, a few episodes ago. We should do that.
Yeah.
And that maybe gets your guys' phone ringing for out-of-area buyers. We should do that for you.
I'm all about networking and doing that. I think that's smart because, we have thought about like networking with people up north and down south because we know that there are influx people moving in and creating that referral network. So
why don't you take it as an action item? And if it's you or Jason or someone on your team, if you want to give them a little press, get me 5 pictures of houses between $1 million and $2 million. Have them be ready to talk about them. I'll ask questions, talk about the areas, and we'll blast it out either once a week or twice a month. I bet you we can get you some out-of-area buyers coming to your group. You're giving me a ton of value with these stats, so let's return the favor and get you some out-of-area buyers.
Well, I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, you're right, man.
I'm writing that down right now as we speak.
I appreciate that. The biggest number on this chart is 1.7, down, negative.
No doubt. No doubt that the biggest number should be highlighted, circled, asterisk, whatever you want to call it. But that is definitely the.
Yeah, that hurts my head. I mean, God.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, and we're dealing with buyers where it's just tough. They're asking you, what's it going to take for us to get this house? You tell them you got to go at least 10 or 15 over. You might have to waive an appraisal contingency. You might have to give a little bit of closing costs, even though, to the seller, you got to stand out somehow different from these other offers to get your offer accepted. And people will sometimes look at you kind of dumbfounded, like, really, that's what I have to do to get a house right now? I'm like, yeah, you don't get it. Here are the numbers. Look at what's going on. And I'm just telling you from experience and what we're experiencing, this is what you're going to have to do. And it's crazy.
Yeah. Again, I'll summarize one more time. We'll go to your next chart. This market, because people that watch my channel generally are investors. And I've been saying for at least 90 days now, this is the most unusual market I've seen in 20 years. It is the most oriented towards owner occupants. So first off, I'm glad investors aren't buying stuff today because the numbers don't make sense, or at least they make less sense. The market will turn. Inventory will come on. It will get better, or rents will go up. Something will happen. So stay engaged. Keep watching. This is not permission to be lazy. You still have to do your work. I would tell people today's the best time to learn your market because it's changing right in front of you, right? When I started 20 years ago, it took me a year and a half to figure it out. Here, you can learn it in 90 days. So use this opportunity throughout the rest of 2020 to learn, and then get ready to strike in 2021 is what I would tell a new investor. All right, so let's take a look at this chart. Oh, look at this chart. Yep. No inventory. That's what this says.
No inventory. Down to 30 days, literally down to 30 days worth of inventory, 1 month.
That is amazing.
It's that. When's the last time you seen numbers like that? I mean, we haven't seen them. I mean,
I've never seen numbers. I've been doing this a long time. In 2006, it was the hottest market I saw. It was about 60-40 investor owners versus buyers. Today, it's like 90-10. So the skew is different. But I remember bitching at 2.1. I remember being upset. I remember saying, there's no inventory. There's no inventory. And it was 2.1.
Yeah.
And I can't fathom 1 month supply.
Yeah.
And again, so that's 1 month everything.
It's a seller's market, not a buyer's market, right?
Oh my God. This is the most, if you have a clean property, this is the best time to be a seller. If you have a property that won't pass inspection, you got a little bit of a problem. Right, because the buyers, the FHA, the 3.5 down, you're not going to get your price. But boy, back to the earlier point, if you are a flipper, this is the time to buy the junk, polish it up good, and make a huge spread. I mean, I'll make 40 grand on that house when I should have made 20. Awesome. I mean,
that's great.
It's okay. I mean, I'll take it. I mean,
of course,
there's a small window where this happens, and I mean, the first house I ever flipped was in 2009 after Obama signed that $8,000 incentive. Do you remember that time frame? Or was it $8,000 for first-time buyers? Were you doing real estate then?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
yes,
so I bought a house right before he announced it on Platte, actually right over by Huntington, like 1 street off Huntington in 702. I bought it for like, I don't remember. I bought it for like 72. This 8K kicker comes out. I literally just paint the place in new carpet, and I flip it for like 125 or something. Today it's probably like 225. But
wow,
that's the only house I ever flipped during my first 15 years. It's just sometimes it happens. The market swings.
Yeah,
buyers come out of the woodwork, and you just take the profit. So I'll take it.
Well, it's funny you say Platte. My great grandmother's house was the first house I ever flipped, and it was on Platte right there off of Chestnut and Tulare.
Yeah, I know it.
And my great grandmother died. Well, not my great grandmother. It was her house, but my grandmother inherited the house when my great grandmother died. Then my dad inherited it when my grandmother died. He goes, "Hey," I was in construction at the time. He goes, "I want you to come fix this up, and I want to flip it real quick." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it," because I've always wanted to flip. And that was my first one. So it's funny, your first one was
Platte.
So was mine.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, again, this chart just speaks to no inventory. Again, folks, you got to learn your market, because no inventory can mean lots of things. What we are in today, is we've already highlighted repeatedly, this is the most skewed, dominant, owner-occupied market I have ever seen. And if you're an investor specifically in Fresno and you're following Fresno because I tell you to, or you think I tell you to, this is the time to wait. Do your homework, watch the numbers. It will, I promise you, it will not always be 1 month supply. It might be 1 month supply throughout the rest of the year, but it won't always be 1 month supply. Real estate is cyclical. It will come back. It's just, it's rough right now to try to buy. I get notes all the time from investors. I can't find anything. I can't find anything. I'm like,
tough,
neither can
man.
I.
It's tough right now. Yeah.
I can't find anything either. All right. Well, I want to make sure people can get a hold of you. You want to give your phone number here? I do have it on the screen if you're watching it, but let's say it out loud in case they're listening on the podcast.
Yeah, my name's Benny Clay. I run the Clayson Group at Keller Williams Fresno. My phone number is area code 559-940-0606. Please give me a call, text, or you can email me at Benny, that's BENNIE, at theclaysongroup.com. And I would love to help you out. And I'm investor friendly. We do a lot of listings, work with buyers, work with investors. We do the whole gamut on our team. So if you're looking for anything in Fresno or Clovis, please give me a call. I'd love to help you out.
Folks, and I second that. If you're doing anything in Fresno, you want to get with a team that works with investors, reach out to Benny, the Clayson Group. I know them all. These are guys I know, trust, and respect. And as you can see, we're really good friends. So make sure you give them a call and check them out. And Benny, we got to do this again next month. And don't forget about those $1 million listings.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it, man. I appreciate you giving me, airtime, and you've always been a good friend to us, and we appreciate you and all your advice and all the things you've been through. I love what you do. I think it's great, and your book's awesome. You're a great inspiration to a lot of people, and so again, I just appreciate you let me on here.
I appreciate it, brother. Take care of yourself. Have a good weekend.
All right, brother. You too. Thank you.